When Richard Hale disappeared, the city of Boston seemed to hold its breath. Hale wasn't just any man. He was one of the city's most influential defense attorneys, known for his charisma, courtroom brilliance, and impeccable public image. To the world, he was the man who had everything: a thriving career, a beautiful wife, and a sprawling home overlooking the Charles River. But on the morning of June 4th, 2025, Richard Hale was gone. His car was found idling by the riverbank, driver's door open, phone on the seat, and keys still in the ignition. No signs of a struggle. No note. No Richard. The case instantly became a national obsession. Investigators soon zeroed in on Hale's wife, Margaret Maggie Hale, a poised and elegant woman in her 40s. She was the picture of grief when Detective Elena Russo from New Jersey arrived to assist local authorities. But there was something about her composure that felt rehearsed. Russo quickly discovered that Maggie was having an affair with Daniel Ross, Richard's best friend and law partner. The betrayal was explosive. Maggie and Daniel denied any involvement in Richard's disappearance, insisting their affair had nothing to do with it. But inconsistencies began to pile up. Maggie had lied about where she was the night Richard vanished, and Daniel had scrubbed his phone records. When police found traces of Richard's blood in Daniel's car trunk, the public's verdict was immediate. They did it. But Detective Russo wasn't convinced. As Russo dug deeper, she began to uncover a darker side of the lawyer's pristine reputation. Richard Hale had been living a double life. Hidden accounts showed that he had been siphoning money from his firm's clients for years, millions of dollars. He had also been making regular transfers to an unknown woman in Baltimore. When Russo tracked the woman down, she turned out to be Evelyn Grant, a former client Richard had represented in a domestic violence case a decade earlier. Evelyn, now living under a different name, was evasive but frightened. She confessed that Richard had been helping her stay safe. But from whom? She wouldn't say. Something about her fear felt real, but her story didn't add up. Then came the break. A week later, hikers found a burned-out cabin deep in the woods of New Hampshire. Inside, authorities discovered remnants of clothing and a melted watch, one confirmed to belong to Richard Hale. DNA testing matched blood at the scene to him. Everyone believed the case was closed. Richard Hale was dead. Maggie and Daniel were arrested for murder. But Russo couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The evidence was too clean, the timing too convenient. When she revisited Evelyn Grant, she noticed a photo on the wall, a candid shot of her young son. The boy was about 8 years old, and he had Richard Hale's unmistakable blue eyes. DNA confirmed it. The child was Richard's son. Evelyn finally broke down. Richard hadn't been murdered. He had staged his own disappearance. He had been planning it for years. The fake blood in Daniel's trunk, the staged scene by the river, even the burned body in the cabin, all orchestrated to make his death believable. He had used Evelyn's remote property as his hiding place, intending to start a new life under a new identity. But something went wrong. Evelyn's abusive ex-husband, recently released from prison, tracked her down and discovered Richard there. A violent confrontation ensued. Evelyn admitted that in the struggle, she shot Richard in self-defense, then burned the cabin to hide what happened. Russo confirmed the story through ballistic evidence. When the truth broke, the nation was stunned. The murdered lawyer had been the architect of his own vanishing act, undone by his own lies and greed. Maggie and Daniel were released, their reputations destroyed but their innocence proven. Detective Russo closed the case with a heavy heart. There were no victors, only casualties of a man's web of deception. As she left Boston, she looked back at the skyline shimmering across the river. The city had returned to its rhythm, but beneath the surface, the story of Richard Hale lingered. A haunting reminder that sometimes the deadliest secrets are the ones we keep about ourselves.